We discuss if we think the parks have improved over the last 10 years and the last 5 years with the Producers Club on episode 318 of the unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. Hey everyone, I'm your host Lee and I am on my own tonight. Well, not officially on my own, but I haven't got Tracy, I've got no Darren, got no Chris. But I am joined by 4 members of our lovely Producers Club. So we will begin with Mr. Andrew Moldavani from Cleveland in the US. Hello, Andrew.
Hey.
Miss Brittany Dwinell from Ontario, Canada. Hey, Brittany.
Hello, all.
And fellow Kitchen Challenge Fairley.
Yes.
That seems like such a long time ago now. Joining us from Shrewsbury here in the UK is Miss Claire Goodwin. Hey, Claire.
Hello, everyone. Hi.
And returning guest, you heard his voice last week, Mr. Ian Kaufman from Connecticut, US.
Hey, kids. Sorry I'm back. Lee made me.
I didn't make you. There was a spot opened up. Yes, we were supposed to have Jeffrey Mackeson on, who is currently at Universal Orlando. He messaged me about an hour before we were about to sit down saying something had happened that significantly affected their day today at the parks. So I wish everyone the best. I hope everyone is well and that it's not anything medical that they are dealing with, and hope it all gets sorted. Because there is nothing worse than things going belly up when you are away on vacation. So the topic of this show, like I said in the intro, is something... In the intro, apparently that's a word. In the intro, it's something we discussed on the show probably about 2 months ago. It was a question we got sent in, that whether we feel that if the parks have improved over the last 10 years, which is quite an interesting question in itself, but then we also want to take a step back and look over the past 5 years, because I do think... It's a very different viewpoint, 10 years, 5 years. But I wanted to make sure that everyone who is on the show with me at the moment is qualified to answer this chosen question. So when was the first time you all visited Universal Orlando? Andrew, when did you go first?
I believe it was 1997. It was when I was very young.
Nice early doors. Brittany, go on, because you were probably there when you were like 1.
Close. But yeah, I was there in 1994 for my first time.
Claire?
I was there in 1993 when I was 7.
Ian?
I have been going there since as far as I can remember, so probably one of the first 2 years it was open.
Right, so in fairness, you're all way more qualified to talk about this topic than I am, because I've only been going since 2004. Off you go then. Just let me know when you finished. No, seriously. I wish I'd have been going back from when the parks were what they were originally supposed to be. And I think that definitely brings us into the topic of conversation that we are going to get into today, that the parks have changed substantially from what they were when it first sort of opened. So, like, getting into it, do you think the parks have improved overall since, like, 2008, 10 years ago? It is a hell of a long time. I remember going in 2009 taking the kids for the first time, and I remember Islands of Adventure being a bit of a mess at the time. So anyone want to start us off?
I definitely do think there's been improvements, but if you really look at it, it's been kind of, from my perspective, I go, every couple of years, rather than someone who sees it and all the minor changes that happen constantly. I see big changes. So I've seen, obviously, Hogsmeade and then Diagon Alley, and I've seen rides being changed. But it's never been new things, it's always replacements. So they're exciting, but they're always a disappointment at the same time, because they're taking something away that I really love, and putting in something else, which, we've got something new, but you've taken away something so great. But yeah, it's one of those things that it has improved, but I feel like it's the outer parks that have improved. So, you've got Volcano Bay and you've got City Walk and all those extra bits, whereas the parks themselves, major changes, yes, but I don't know how I feel about it.
That's an interesting point of view, actually. Yeah, actually, it's interesting. Like you say, I'm trying to think what was the last attraction that they put inside either of the parks that wasn't a replacement for something else.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be that be Kong?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
Hmm. Which is just the same ride, kind of. We already had Kong, just they moved
Yeah.
to a different park.
I kind of missed that. I kind of missed Confrontation. That was kind of a
missed
fun
the
ride.
old one. Oh my god,
It was such a
It was
good
kind of
ride.
fun. I remember, I was just talking to Darren about this, I think. I remember riding that, and even as a kid, just trying to look outside the car and looking at all the, just everything, the city and stuff. I thought it was really cool in there.
It was definitely one of my favorites. Mm-hmm.
I'd annoy my parents like all the time because that was the only thing. I just go over and over and over again, and I think they got a little annoyed at me near the end. But I loved it so much.
Yeah,
that is a good one.
But again, it's that immersiveness, isn't it? Again, because you had that cast member at the front interacting, and again, it's something we've lost because we keep losing that.
That to me has been the biggest loss in the park so far. Is that live team member interaction? You know, you've got largely team member driven attractions. Jaws has gone. Disaster's gone. I have not ridden that ride yet. Darren rode it for the first time yesterday. I have heard his 3-word review. I will not be able to get him to repeat it on next week's show, but I will get him to do his review. It was not good.
Yeah, I don't think we should talk about that ever.
It's just such a strange, because you think, actually, let's save that for the second half. I think that gets into the 5 years. But
I don't know if you guys remember. I know some of you guys said they went in the early 90s, but anybody remember seeing like the Bates Motel in the background and walking out the back to Hard Rock? The Hard Rock used to be shaped like a guitar. One of the waitresses there. Yeah, it used to be a giant acoustic guitar back there.
I remember Bates Motel. Very vaguely, but I remember Bates Motel.
Yeah, we walked back there and we went in the front, and then the waitress or the host just showed me when I was a kid. But it used to be an acoustic guitar. That's the shape of the building used to be, from what I remember.
That's awesome.
Seems to ring a bell? There's a fretboard out in front of the Hard Rock Cafe at the moment, isn't it? Was that part of it, or is that something else?
I don't remember right now, but I remember the walkway in and pulling up in the car and stuff. There was a fretboard you walked under, if I remember right. I mean, it's been a while, but I seem to remember that as a kid walking through all that. Like, I remember all this stuff before City Walk was even there. So,
yeah.
I think when you look at whether the parks have improved overall over the last 10 years, I think it's an interesting thing, because you've got to look at how theme parks have changed over the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
When the studios first opened, it was Ride the Movies. It was showing you how those movies were made, and I don't because the movie making process has changed so much now that I don't necessarily know whether those type of attractions would still stand up today.
Well, I mean, they still have the horror makeup show, and people still enjoy that, and that's pretty much the same show. I mean, horror makeup is still makeup.
True.
You know what I mean? I mean, that's still movie making. Yeah, I know, sadly.
I think people always are attracted to practical effects just because it's not something we see anymore.
Yeah.
So getting to see that in real life, getting to see the Hitchcock show in real life, and same with Ghostbusters, it's just very fascinating because everything's done on computers now, that when you do get to see it actually happening in front of you with people around you, it just jumps to your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of miss a lot of the movie making parts of the park. I mean, and like we were talking about earlier, the people like the hosts actually being on the ride with you and that extra experience, it's all that stuff is lacking. But I think generally the theming and stuff has been advancing, and for the Wizarding World stuff. But they kind of hit a wall and just started reproducing those tunnel train rides.
Save that for after the break.
Sorry.
We'll get into that. Trust me, we will get into that.
Yes, please.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
I mean, to echo what has just been said, for me, it's like apples and oranges. Like, what I loved about the park was seeing all the practical effects, was seeing how things were done. It was seeing rides like Disaster and Twister, where you were in the middle of what was going on, and it was something that you could experience, and you were a part of it. Like, you could feel the flames, you could feel the water, you could feel everything. There wasn't a barrier of a screen which a lot of the rides now have. It's the practical effects, all the practical effects of the rides of the past is what I greatly miss. But
yeah, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but I think anybody that missed that Hitchcock attraction really missed out on something unique.
Thank you for rubbing that in.
Sorry about that, sir. That was like straight up immersion before it was so popular. I mean, being able to pick up binoculars and look at the apartment building and then do the Statue of Liberty stunt and everything in there, even after the show, it's pretty cool. So I miss that attraction a lot. I thought that was really unique, just to get replaced with a theater.
I'm actually quite surprised at how negative you guys are being over the parks, because I would have said, personally, I think the parks have improved over the last 10 years. I think one of the biggest improvements I think over the last 10 years, like not taking the queues into consideration, but I like the fact that, especially in the studios, and I think Islands was the park that changed things for that, was more immersive land. So rather than it being like, you look at something like Shrek or even Despicable Me, they haven't really done the attractions now. I think Kong's the prime example. It could have just been a show building with that ride in it, but they've built a whole mini land for that thing. The same with Hogsmeade, the same with Diagon Alley, Fast and Furious kind of, but that seems to be the way they're going now, is building, rather than just plonking an attraction inside a show building, they're trying to build its own land, and I think that's definitely what we'll see in the new parks when they get built, especially if the rumour we're hearing true about it being called Fantastic Worlds. That Worlds thing definitely sort of hit a nerve with us, that it's going to be highly themed areas themed around whatever the property is that you're going to see. Does that sort of get anyone excited as an improvement, or is it just like Brittany, I know you're going to look at Diagon Alley and go, no, I'd still rather have Jaws.
Yeah.
I'd rather have both.
Yeah.
I do think the parks have, in that sense, the parks have definitely improved. The theming has definitely, like, if you look at Harry Potter, just the scale of everything, right? So I mean, in that respect, the parks have improved, but it's just I think it's just the preference of how technology has changed the parks. But in general, I do think the parks have improved drastically with theming.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna say it's kind of touch and go, because the Wizarding World was kind of also pushed a little by Rowling, which obviously worked very well because it's very well done. And then the other stuff I'm not allowed to talk about because Lee says we're going to talk about later. It's kind of not really a step forward, in my opinion. As much as I like Kong and I really love the queue, I really like that ride. I wish it was a little longer, but the newer ride that just opened, it's not exactly a step forward. And I loved Islands when it first opened. I still do, actually. But I mean, I don't want to see them not spend money in there in something that was like a premier park that pushed the limits. And now it's just kind of like sitting there.
Yeah.
Which bums me out.
Yeah.
And I am excited for another park, but it doesn't mean you should just let one sit there either.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we've discussed that so much on this show that I would rather see them hold back off a fourth gate and pump some money into Islands of Adventure, because they've literally done nothing barring Hogsmeade, Skull Island, and that's pretty much it. In how long's it been open now? 19 years?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and
I think 1999 is when it opened.
Yeah.
It is shocking how much hasn't changed, actually.
It's sad. I mean, you know how much we talk about it on the show, that it's mine and Tracy's favourite park, yet when we went over in 2015, we spent the least amount of time we've ever spent in Islands of Adventure, because there wasn't an awful lot to do.
I think that's what happened to me, spending less time, yeah.
I was going to say, it also feels like general upkeep is just not important in Islands of Adventure. I know they're repainting things here and there, and they just redid the track of the Hulk, but even walking through some of the areas, you can see just the age of the sun constantly beating down on these rides.
Yeah.
And just the little care that they have to keep things going and keep it pristine.
I think Ian hit it on the head, and it's sad to say. I think that the Wizarding World is the one area that really gets the upkeep because they have to. Because they know they've got Warner Brothers breathing down the neck. They know they've got J.K. Rowling there breathing down the neck. And everything else, when they haven't got that creative person behind them sort of making sure it's kept up to the standard that it should be, they're kind of like, we'll just leave that. Which I'm surprised about Marvel Superhero Island as well, considering they've got Disney breathing down the neck over that.
Yeah.
And speaking of that island, do we really need Stormforce anymore? I mean, you can go to a carnival and ride that. I mean, even Dr. Dooms is kind of pushing it a little these days, but
yeah,
I think Stormforce is the only ride I've never ridden.
Yeah, I've never gone on it. I could go to I could go to a carnival and ride it. So
exactly.
Yeah.
In fairness, there's one at the Magic Kingdom as well, and they've just put one into Toy Story Land, basically.
Yeah, I don't ride those either.
Me either. They make me puke. Especially when Tracy gets on them. There's no way I'm getting on them with her. It's like she's not happy if the kids don't come off with their eyes not spinning in their heads. But again, I think you're making me get all bummed out now. They're kind of right. Yeah, I kind of agree. I find it difficult to go against a lot of what you've already said. It's the resort as a whole that's improved, but the parks themselves, certain respects they have, certain respects they haven't.
Yeah.
It seems like when they're pressured to do something, they do, like, you can see what they're able to do. And then when they make a promise like one ride a year, that was the promise, right?
Yeah.
That's what they said they were going to do. You end up with the other ride I'm not allowed to talk about yet.
I think you're right, though. It's a case of they've backed themselves into a corner of saying we're going to put in, they actually said, an e-ticket attraction every year.
Yeah.
Well, that's arguable, but yeah, they've kind of, what do we do? What do we put in next? Oh, let's just put that ride in I'm not letting anyone talk about. Yeah.
Exactly, because it's cheap and easy pretty much. I mean, and like I said, I love Kong, but that ride could easily have been longer, and they did a way better job on that from what I have seen online since I haven't ridden the other one. But I actually really enjoyed that ride a lot. And to see a giant Kong again in the park is pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is Universal, so.
Yeah. I was fairly disappointed by that ride, personally.
Shame on you.
There was something about sitting in a tram, looking over and seeing 5 other people next to me, and then a screen that just took me completely out of it. I will give you this, the animatronic Kong at the end, on point, but the rest of the ride I just felt like was very lazy.
Well, I thought the periodic other animatronics they use in there kind of helped it a little more. So I'm okay with that, and I'm good with seeing a giant Kong moving around and waving at me anytime. I love those movies.
I feel like I need to ride it again, though, because I was not expecting a tram ride when I got on it, and then I was like, oh my god, this is pretty terrible.
I knew what I was in for, so I knew what to expect.
I feel like we should just go for a break now and come back, because I can see the second half of this show is going to be. I'm biting my tongue. Put it that way.
Going to trash one ride.
But you're right. It's difficult to. Do you? Okay, then let's put this out. Do you feel? Right, I'm going to put this in a Harry Potter reference. So for me, the Order of the Phoenix book is a waste of space. Sorry if I'm going to kill everyone. I'm the biggest Harry Potter fan in the world. But I feel that book there doesn't really tell its own story. It's too busy setting up book 6 and 7. Do you feel what they're doing at the moment is setting up the future of Universal Orlando Resort rather than concentrating on what the parks are now?
Yeah, like future-proofing it. Mm.
So they're putting in attractions to flesh out that. They're redoing City Walk. Putting more hotels in, looking at 4 or 5 years down the line when Volcano Bay's had its expansion, when the 4th gate opens, the new hotels across the road. Is there a bigger picture where at the moment it doesn't look like things are improving, but in 4 or 5 years' time you'll see that bigger picture and go, okay, I see what they're doing there.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
We just see the amount of accommodation that they've put in there. Obviously, they're expecting some uplift in people turning up. So,
yeah,
Well, I mean, just to use the typical thing that theme parks do, it's basically infrastructure to have hotels ready for people. So, I mean, it could be that they're spending a lot of time on the hotels, and I'm hoping that's what it is, and just focusing on that. But it seems like a necessary step for them as well.
So I don't believe with the amount of hotels they're putting in that it's geared around the current resort. I don't believe.
No way.
There's
Not at all.
Well, I remember talking to Russ Dagan at our first meet in Orlando, and I'm trying to remember. I'm sure he said their aim was to get 15,000 rooms in their on-site hotels. I'm not quite sure where they're at yet, but I think they're still quite a way away from that.
Yeah, that's the number I heard. I don't know how accurate that is, but that's what I heard in the rumors.
That's what he told us. That was because he was senior VP for Parks and Resorts at the time, and it was just before Cabana Bay opened, so we got him in to talk about Cabana Bay with us, and that was he said their goal at the time was to get 15,000 on-site hotel rooms. As I say, I'm not quite sure where they're at now, because obviously Endless Summer's going to Endless Summer is going to add a hell of a lot of rooms into that inventory, because it's 2 huge hotels.
Yeah. And my fear of that is that they're looking down the road at a competitive resort and what is going to open next year, and just getting that ready for crowds that potentially aren't planning to go to Universal at all.
Right.
I think when Harry Potter opened, it kind of caught them with their pants down a little bit. Just because, like, if you look at the numbers, in the last 10 years, Universal has almost doubled its attendance. So I think now they're just trying to build the parks, they're trying to build the infrastructure, they're trying to build the hotels to kind of make up that difference and make sure that they have stuff going on in the future.
Well, I mean,
support all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and from what I hear too, a lot of people are splitting their vacations. So I mean, it makes sense for them to have the rooms too, because
I do feel they've possibly got too much of one eye on the competitors down the road. I think they're definitely trying to compete with Disney, because Disney realize, and having stayed on Disney property, it's true, they put you into that bubble and make it awkward and difficult to get off-site.
Well, yeah, I mean, speaking to that, I've heard that they're adding another, Universal's going to add another running event too, to try to pick up some of that from Disney.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true, but that's what I heard. They're adding another running event or something.
And I understand why they're doing it, but I think the problem is that Universal was Universal. It wasn't trying to be a Disney. And I think they've still got half an eye on who they are, their own unique personality, but also an eye on that we need to capitalize on the people, because they know that the most of the vacationers coming into the Orlando area are going to Disney, and they want to take as much of that market share as they can.
Well, also, I'll say this. They were the ones that caused the huge rush with the Wizarding World, and they were the ones that basically brought back the Live the Movies, because you're walking through basically sets is what it feels like. You feel like you're there.
Yeah.
And that has kicked Disney into action with Star Wars to try and compete. I think they have the lead, and putting in these other 2 smaller rides, as much as I like Kong even, they kind of dropped the ball a little bit by doing that instead of something awesome that we could all love. I mean, they literally had the lead. They were running with the ball, and then it just dropped. I don't know where it went.
No, I agree.
I'm hoping the coaster that they're building is going to be awesome. It seems to be, but I mean, what do we have to get to that? I mean, and Disney took what they did, and they're going to make it into a whole hotel experience and all. I mean, could you imagine a Harry Potter hotel? That just went right into the.
I'll be there tomorrow.
Yeah, like if you could just walk out the hotel into like
house.
We're there with you, Claire. Kidneys and kids getting sold.
Just walk out of your house or walk out of your room and go right into like the Fantastic Beasts area in the new park or something. I mean, they should be already on that kind of stuff.
But this is getting onto an entirely different topic. But this is where Universal will fall down over Disney. Disney can do what they want with Star Wars because it's theirs.
Yeah.
The problem with Universal, because they don't own all their own stuff, they've got to go to Warner Brothers and say, "Excuse me, sir, can we do this?" And they go, "No, you can't." And they go, "Okay, then."
Well, I mean, imagine even if Universal had done Dark Universe, right? We could have had a Monsters area and a Monsters hotel. That would have been amazing. Like, who wouldn't want to stay in
good.
like all the monsters' rooms, like a Dracula area or something, and just walk into like that? If they didn't drop the bomb. I mean, I heard Blumhouse wants to do it. Jason Blum wants to take over it, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
I'd be up for that.
Seriously, like a dark universe, area would be amazing.
Stay in Dracula's hotel and just have all the different monster rooms themed around it.
Just his house, just like his mansion.
I don't know.
Like castle, like a castle. That'd be so good. I mean, they have property. They could do this stuff with it. They own. I was just using the Potter, and I mean, Universal's not struggling with their own property. They have stuff they could do things with that would be interesting and fun.
I think the problem is those just haven't been successful in so many years that they're ignoring it because they don't think it's going to draw the crowd.
We only have to look at Dracula Untold, that was supposed to be the kickoff of the Dark Universe, and now they've pretty much like just swept it under the carpet and actually, the Mummy's the first one now, and then that's a lot of crap. So what we starting off with next?
Well, what happened after the Mummy is the whole floor, the building they built for that, everyone just left. From what I gathered, everyone just walked out. So, I mean, they're trying to. Everyone's trying to catch up, and everyone's playing catch up in the movies with Marvel and even Star Wars to a point. So they need to stop worrying about doing a universe and just do a good movie first and then build off that, because Marvel wouldn't work without Iron Man. So
I hate that that's the mindset today, that everything has to have this connective universe in which, you get little hints of a movie that they're making, 2 years from now in a movie that you can see today, and you kind of lose what just a good movie is.
Yeah.
In a vacuum.
Yeah. And we've gone completely off topic at this point, but go on.
Isn't Blumhouse supposed to be doing the Universal Monsters? Isn't that the latest thing?
No, it's all based, all the stuff from what I gather is based on somebody, a fan asked him if he'd be willing to take over the Dark Universe, and he just said yes with a lot of explanation points. So people are excited for that, obviously, because I am. But I mean, it can't be any worse.
Ian, how egotistical are you? Everyone else is excited about it because you are.
Because I am. Because I love monsters, man.
Well, I know Darren will be listening to this going, yeah, I'm on board with that.
Yeah, I know you will. I talk to Darren about stuff like this all the time. Well, recently.
Yeah.
But I mean, just an example of stuff they could do in the new park with a hotel and everything else. So.
Yeah, I think we could potentially look back at things in 10 years' time and look at what's happened in the parks over the last 10 years and say, yeah, I can see it now, but it's sad that we have to go through what we're going through at the moment, because like you said, with the Wizarding World, they really raised the bar. Like, Hogsmeade raised the bar. Diagon Alley raised it even more, because from the rumours we heard was when Diagon Alley opened, Disney sent a load of Imagineers over and up. I'm sure the original budget for Star Wars Land was something like 700 million. They sent Imagineers over to Diagon Alley. They went back and went, we need more money, and they gave them $1 billion.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, even they're wasting an opportunity. They could have different locations at each park and make it even more exciting, but they're building the same thing in every park.
The problem is it's going to be just shoulder to shoulder for at least the first year.
Yeah, I know, but it'd be so cool to have different adventures in different parks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That'd be so much better.
Separate out that crowd a little bit. And from everything that they're talking about, having, like actors walking around, interactive people, this Westworld feel, how are you going to do that when there's 16 people around one guy trying to talk to you?
Yep. You only have to look at the interactive ones in Diagon Alley. You just got a line of people, and you've seen the spell work 20 times before you get round to doing it yourself.
No.
Yep.
It kind of takes it out. You really don't have an interest in doing that stuff after you have to wait in the line, after you see tons of people doing it, or you just feel so uncomfortable because you're surrounded by people.
Right. Well, we're getting about halfway through, and this did not go the way I expected it to go. So you're all very negative people. I do apologise, everyone. So basically, we think the parks are still as crap as they were 5-10 years ago. The resort itself has improved a little bit, but I know where the meat and potatoes of this episode are going to come. So we will take a quick break to hear from our sponsors, and we will be back.
Have you taken a stroll down Diagon Alley and visited Gringotts Bank, grabbed a butterbeer and the 3 broomsticks after a long day touring Hogwarts Castle? No? Then what are you waiting for? Let our team of experts help make your dream a reality. At Mouse Muggle Travel Company, we specialize in all things Universal Orlando Resort and promise to do our very best to put together a vacation package that fits your needs, wants, and budget. At Universal, there truly is an option for everyone. Or if you're leaning a little more towards pixie dust rather than wands and potions, we specialize in Disney destinations as well. So, if you're ready to get started planning your next family vacation, let Mouse Muggle Travel Company do all the hard work for you. You have nothing to lose, as our services are free to you. Just visit us at mouseandmuggle.com to fill out a no-obligation quote request, or send an email to info@mouseandmuggle.com. And remember, whether you're a mouse or a muggle, Mouse and Muggle Travel Company can help make your next vacation simply magical.
Well, welcome back, everyone. So going on, we would sort of looked at it and crapped all over the last 10 years. So let's carry on crapping over things and let's have a look at the last 5 years. Someone please just mention Fast and Furious and let's get it out of the way. Have we all ridden Fast and Furious? No, I haven't.
I haven't,
Nope.
no.
Nope.
Brittany?
In a month.
All right. Andrew, you must have ridden it then.
I have not.
So we're all about to crap on a ride that none of us have ridden.
I've just heard a lot of bad things.
Well, we'll start this conversation off by saying, looking through the annual pass holder group, and it is the most negative place in the world anyway. Oh my God. It's bad that a brand new ride, has such a reputation already that the five of us sat round here can rip it to bits, having never been anywhere near it.
Yeah.
For me, I'm trying to hold my criticisms until I go see it. I enjoy the franchise. I think they definitely could have gone in a different direction with the ride. For a franchise that keeps itself in practical and doing things practically, to have a ride that's just digital, I think is a big missed opportunity. Where, you know, if you had just, even if it was just at the beginning, I don't know, I haven't watched anything, I don't know anything about the ride except for what I've seen on the annual pass holder group, which isn't good. But like if the ride started with like another car that was like I don't know if it was the backlot at MGM or where the cars danced.
Oh, that was the studio tour at Hollywood, Universal Studios Hollywood.
So, like, if you had an animatronic like that, where the cars could race beside you or flip over,
yeah,
or
that
something,
would be cool.
at the beginning of the ride, I think just something to ground the ride, something to bring you into it, so it's not just you sitting. So it's not just you sitting and just watching an experience. It's you kind of feel like you're part of it, you know?
Yeah.
I think I was expecting some kind of test tracky or, you know, rock and roller coastery type of attraction when they started talking about it, and then obviously they just went in with this screen-based ride, and I was like, no, what are you doing?
Because as we said earlier on, they've backed themselves into a corner of having to put a new ride in every year, and that's the quick, easy fix. We'll take something that already exists in Hollywood, because Kong was fairly well received, so why not do it again?
Yeah.
The problem is that when Fast and Furious Supercharged was made in Hollywood, the certain things in that film franchise were different than they are now, which I think was Chris's biggest complaint, that it doesn't make sense because one of the characters is now a good guy, whereas before he was a bad guy.
And they got rid of two amazing rides. Like, why? Oh, not rides, sorry, a show and a ride, but
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
I'm going to say that I think it was kind of doomed from the beginning. It's kind of hard to make like an attraction as much as I like the Fast and Furious like movies. They're kind of like guilty pleasures for me, but it's kind of hard to make a ride like that and not do like test track, but then you don't get any of the stars around you really. So, I mean, just to throw a party bus, like, I don't even know how to deal with that.
Join the party, man.
Yeah. The reviews were so bad, I actually watched the ride through. I never do that before a ride that I've never been on, but I heard about a giant Vin Diesel on or either that or was a small helicopter, and I had to see that for myself.
Oh, God.
Just because. So I had to watch that and see that. It's horrible. The CGI for their faces and heads is weird. It's just from the get-go, this thing was bad. I mean, and to spend all that time on what I hear is such an awesome queue, and just to end up with that for your ride.
I feel like you need to get drunk and then ride it, and that would be hilarious.
I feel like you need to get drunk and fall asleep after the queue, and then you're fine.
Get on the ride, fall asleep, wake up at the end. You had a great time.
It's an awesome ride.
I think that's going to be the biggest issue when you get into it, though, the amount of screens. You know, it's been done to death, but it's just like I'm not against screen-based attractions, but I'll be honest, when we came out in 2015, having spent the entire 7 days on property, when you're going from screen to screen to screen to screen, it gets old quickly.
Yeah.
It really does.
Just to compare, like a screen, the river ride, the Navi River ride, that has screens in it, but they're so well hidden that you can barely tell. And they also do mapping and stuff in there, which would have been awesome to see in some of this stuff. Besides just a screen. And
that's
from what I can,
beautiful.
Yeah, and from what I can see from the videos of the Fast and Furious ride, the screens are not tall enough, and you can see the tops of them quite often.
That's
which
terrible.
makes it even worse, but I don't know for sure. I haven't actually been on the ride. But if there is 5 seats across and everyone tells you to sit in the middle or you'll see the top of the screen, somebody didn't do their homework. I'm just saying.
Yeah, and it's an easy fix. That's the worst thing about it. It's an easy fix. Like I always say that you can use screens in an attraction, but it's got to be to do something that you couldn't do physically. So if you take Forbidden Journey as the prime example, the screens in that are used to do things that you couldn't do practically.
Yeah.
And everything
like
else
flying.
in that ride is practical. Well, you're kind of flying. But you look at everything else, the dragon, the Whomping Willow, the spiders, the Dementors, it's for every screen, there's 2 or 3 big sort of animatronic set pieces. And for me, that's the perfect amalgamation.
It's just an
of the
enhancement rather than a replacement.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
And I understand why they do it. You look at, like, I've no doubt Universal have had one eye on Expedition Everest, because I know that originally the finale of Transformers: The Ride 3D, that wasn't a screen. So when Optimus Prime rolls up and transforms in front of you, the big screen at the end, that was an animatronic. And they built it, and it worked.
Awesome.
Oh, why didn't they do that?
So sad.
It would have made it so much better.
But they couldn't get it to work regular enough. And they obviously, and I understand this point, that if that's the finale of your ride and that animatronic doesn't work, you walk out of that attraction. Oh.
Yeah.
So they went
Can I have
for
the animatronic?
Oh, tell me about it. It would be amazing. Like, you would literally come off that ride just gobsmacked. It would have been phenomenal. As it is, I quite like that ride anyway.
Yeah, it's fun.
But it shows you how you can use screens and still make a good attraction. And I haven't ridden Jimmy Fallon yet, but I'm not hearing great things about that either.
I liked it.
My favorite part of that ride is the safety spiel. I will always say that.
Oh, the route, yeah.
So good.
That's they do seem to have, like you said earlier on, Ian, it's like as long as they've got somebody behind them kicking their asses and making sure that they're doing the best work they can, they do tend to sort of sit back on their laurels a little bit.
Yeah, it seems like that. And I mean, to do something like Potter and then to come out with like Fast and Furious and think that people are going to be okay with that was also something that was a mistake on their part, straight up.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you'll agree that no one, Disaster and Beetlejuice were no one's favourite attractions, but you've got to do something that's fairly decent. Like, everyone was devastated when Jaws went, but arguably they've created something better. Am I allowed to say that? Sorry, Thomas. But when you look at overall, you've got an attraction plus an entirely hugely themed area. Yes, Jaws, like you said, it would have been good to keep both of them, but they've replaced it with something that...
It was an improvement.
I would, yes.
Basically.
As a Potter fan, yes, it was. Whereas Can you say Jimmy Fallon was an improvement over Twister? Not really.
No.
Even though, again, Twister was no one's favourite attraction.
Oh, I loved it.
Glad you love everything.
It was so atmospheric, though.
Twister
I loved
was
it.
brilliant. It was a fantastic attraction.
It was like being in the movies. It's great.
It was definitely like nothing else. So, I mean, just losing that.
I am going to be a little bit devil's advocate there and say it wasn't that great when I was in it in 2013, but a lot of it is upkeep.
Yes.
When I was in it, it was like I could see paint peeling. I could see issues within the set and things that they were just ignoring.
In fairness, there's a Twister going through every day.
Yeah.
Like 20, 40 times a day. I'll give him a pass on that one. Oh, that was harsh.
That thing was running all the time, wasn't it? Didn't they say once they turned that thing on, it was pretty much going all the time?
Yes, that's what I heard. I'm trying to think, because we interviewed, who was it, Craig Hanna, the guy who came up with the patent for the indoor tornado. What an honour to have that on your wall. Oh yes, I came up with the indoor tornado.
Cool.
But it's like, you build it, you need to know what the conditions are, and after all those years it was open, you still let it fall into disrepair.
True.
That's on Universal 100%. Not saying the ride was bad whatsoever, but, they just didn't keep it up, and they swapped it out with something that I think is what they're doing today, of just grabbing IPs that will bring people into the park, even if it's a poor ride experience. They get the theming right, they get the IP right, they get that piece of it, and then they just put it out there and let it go.
It's low maintenance as well.
Exactly. Screens are far easier than an indoor tornado.
Because they don't even seem to be changing the ride systems on a lot. You think Simpsons for Back to the Future. From I think we actually talked about it on the last show, Ian, that you believe that the ride profile for that is exactly the same as Back to the Future was.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard it's the same.
Yeah.
You can watch the Back to the Future film and it's the same ride.
Despicable Me for Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah.
Jimmy Fallon? It wasn't Jimmy Fallon, it was Jimmy Neutron.
Yeah, Jimmy Neutron. It was Hanna-Barbera before that. I missed that.
But yeah, they don't even seem to be changing much out that. From what we're hearing with T2 3Ds getting changed to a Bourne show, and I don't really see the point in that. But
does anyone care about Treadstone? I mean, I'm excited to watch the show a little bit, but I mean, Bourne's kind of like run its course. This is a little coming late, and I mean, it's not going to have the weight behind it that Terminator had on top of that. So,
I mean, I will say I'm glad that it's a live action show replaced with a live action show. If it is what they claim it's going to be.
Yes.
So I'll be glad for that.
I think they could have been a little more creative with what they're bringing in. I don't know off the top of my head. I did have some ideas I was talking to Darren about, but I don't remember what it was. But it was something better than that. And it was something that would have been more related to like a Terminator style. But
in fairness, the rebooting, hasn't James Cameron got back with Arnie and
Arnold's training for it right now.
Yeah, so it's going to be as if 3 and whatever, what is the 3? It's Terminator 3, Salvation, and whatever the last load of crap was, as if they don't exist, and it follows straight on from Terminator 2 Judgment Day. So it could have still it would have been interesting if they'd have used T2 3D as canon and led the new one on from that.
Yeah, that would have been awesome. It was really sad. I mean, even the last time I went in there, it was pretty sad to see the state of the attraction, though. It was so good when I was when I was young and I first saw it. It was so awesome. But like some of the screens, even in the preview room, the preview area, some of those screens weren't even working right. So
it was just the perfect 4D show. 4D shows aren't really a thing anymore, but it had everything you wanted: the animatronics, live actors. The 3D portion still for me is the best 3D on any attraction. I've said it a million times that I don't think the 4K digital projection gives you that same 3D effect that they used to have. Like Spider-Man for me isn't as good as it was when the original film 3D was in its prime. You just don't get that. It gives you depth, not that in your face that the film 3D used to give you, and it's.
Yeah, the battlefield stuff in Terminator, the depth in that was awesome. It was so cool. And the giant screens opening up everywhere.
Yeah, with the T1 million, when it comes out, it feels like it's in your face. You don't get that with the 4K digital projection.
Not at all.
And Michael Winslow's voice doing sound effects is gone now, too.
Is that who it was? I didn't know that. Where else?
There's something so special about that ride. And just the practical effects, the well-directed, little movie they tossed in there. And then you jump over to something like Shrek 4D, which, like, how is that a 4D movie in comparison? Theater seats move, but, man, that just feels like a cop-out.
Yeah, and it's the Shrek 4D. They released it, so you can buy it. It's really not even.
I'm sure it's on my Shrek DVD from 2005.
Yeah, it's an extra on one of them, I think.
I think we've said it before that we saw it on DVD before we saw it in the parks.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. You shouldn't be able to do that.
That is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can watch it at home, you shouldn't have it in a park.
No.
Just sit behind you with shaking the chair.
Yeah, like that. I've seen the YouTube video of with his dad with a kid in the wash basket doing it, the roller coaster in front of the TV.
Just doing that with Shrek.
That's what I was thinking of.
We could just sit in front of Lee with a squirt gun and whenever.
And some wind,
do the same thing. Fan and a squirt gun and be all set.
The official Universal special effects for any ride.
It's just like, we're 5 people who love Universal Orlando so much, but it's so difficult to sit here and be positive about a lot of the moves they've made in the last 5 years as far as those parks. And it seems weird to say that, this is the length of time really just over that we've been doing the podcast. And I like to think that we're pretty positive on the show for the most part. And yet when you actually dive down into it, it's difficult to back a lot of the moves they've made outside of the Wizarding World stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say the hardest part is that they did the Wizarding World. Now you're going to compare everything they do to that because you're going to want that more. You know what I'm saying? So it's harder to go from Wizarding World, even though I know they can't do it every time, but to go to even the attractions themselves by themselves, to go from that to like Fast and the Furious, it's a huge step back.
Yeah. Well, you look at, like you said, they've just put Fast and Furious in, right? Which is an absolute load of crap. Yet the next attraction that we're getting in that park, from everything we've heard, it looks like it's going to be amazing. Where's it going in? The Wizarding World of Harry Potter.
Yep. And again, that brings us back to standards from outside.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's sad. It's sad that they don't hold themselves. And we know that those people can do it.
Oh yeah, I have no doubt. If they can churn out that other stuff, I have no doubt. I mean, even Lost Continent when it first opened was pretty cool. I mean, Merlinwood and all that. Yeah, it was really cool even back then.
Yeah. My question, is it a monetary issue, a lack of effort issue, they're too rushed? I mean, where is the real problem at the end of the day with them?
I would doubt it's creative, personally.
I would say it's money.
I don't think it's creative. Yeah. I'm just curious, are the creative people rushed? I mean, obviously they have the talent, they have the skill. Are they too rushed? Do they have a lack of funds? It's just not enough of a push? Do they not have enough team around?
Yeah, I think it's like Lee was saying. I think they're stifled by the money they're allowed to spend.
Because you've got a major corporation behind you now counting every penny.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like, right, this is what we want to do. This is how much it's going to cost. Well, we haven't got that much, so we need you to scale it back. Yeah. And it's like, and it's funny, actually. I've just been thinking there, you look at the last 4 attractions they've put in. Let's take Diagon Alley out of the equation. So Fast and Furious already exists in Hollywood.
Yep.
Skull Island Reign of Kong technically already exists in Hollywood. Jimmy Fallon, that's a new one. Okay, we'll give you that. Transformers The Ride 3D already exists in 2 other parks, I do believe. So they're now, it's costing them even less because the R&D for those attractions has already been done. It's literally just porting them over into that park.
And all they pay for is the theming around it.
Yeah.
Which, in some cases is dirt cheap. from what it seems like, anyways.
Well, look at Transformers as a prime example. Yeah. That is literally just a show building. They did some light theming on the outside,
statue on top, and just repainted the entryway, and that's it.
Yeah,
yeah.
And the one real ride that we're getting that is something a step above something they've done, that isn't something they've done before, and looks like it's going to be a step above everything else, is going to be inside the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. It's quite sad because, like you say, people are going to go for the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, but you've got to give them a reason to come time and time again. And we've had emails before where someone they went, oh, we went for the Wizarding World, it was fantastic, but then we went to the rest of the park, and I was just like, don't even bother because it's rubbish. And that's sad.
It is.
The one thing that I keep going back to is that they keep putting all the money into the world of Harry Potter, and it's like they're putting all their eggs in one basket, you know?
Yeah.
And you have to spread it around a little bit. You have to make sure that you have an identity away from Harry Potter. And I think it's the most, I have to bite my lip so many times when people say, yeah, I'm going to the Harry Potter park, yep. Or they think that Harry Potter is a part of Disney. Like, they don't realize, they don't know the name, they don't know what park it's in, they don't associate it with Universal, and they don't know anything else except for it's that Universal, it's that Harry Potter thing. So I think they need to take a step back, kind of look at what they've done, and kind of they need to have that theme again of, well, are we going to ride the movies? Are we going to experience, what is our focus, and put their attention towards making sure that people know this is Universal, this is not Harry Potter, but we have Harry Potter.
Yeah. And I think they did that to themselves, that when all the wording they used around the Wizarding World of Harry Potter when Hogsmeade opened, that they called it a theme park within a theme park, and they didn't do themselves any favors.
Well, and like I said, I mean, even before Harry Potter, walking through any of those lands is pretty much like you're riding the movies, basically. So they brought it full circle. They should stick with that.
Yeah. Whereas before it was we're going to put you in, sort of behind the scenes of how it's now literally putting you in them.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be awesome. It should just more lands like that.
But I don't know if that's really sustainable today.
Well, I mean, the Marvel Island is basically putting you in a comic book page, so it's really not that far off. So,
Toon Lagoon, you feel like you're in a comic strip. Seuss Landing, you feel like you're in a Dr. Seuss book.
Hang on, I'll stop you there, Andrew. When you walk into Toon Lagoon, you feel like you're in a 1980s comic book. But yeah, I'll give you that.
Hey, it's not Robin Williams Popeye, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, Andrew, carry on.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I feel like that's all in, Islands of Adventure. They really nailed the theming, but Universal Orlando by itself really isn't going for that. It's all very individual rides outside of Diagon Alley and Simpsons Land, which are the two newest lands. They really don't have much theming around a lot of those rides.
No.
And that's not what they're going for. And, along with that, they really lost their way when it comes to ride the movies.
But they haven't used that tagline. They haven't used that tagline for quite some time. Do they actually have a tagline at the moment?
Isn't it vacation like you mean it or something like
right.
that?
Yeah. Well, when Alicia was on for the Rumour Mill recently, she said she believes that they're going to be, the tagline's going to, is it Epic Universe that they're looking to use? That's what we're going to expect. She said if you look on a lot of the projectors for the cinematic, hang on, I get confused now. Is it Celebration or is it Spectacular now? Which is it?
I can't remember. They all sound the same.
I genuinely can't remember.
Celebration.
It's Celebration now, is it? Right, there you go. That apparently a lot of the projectors for that have Epic written on the side. And
I hate the word epic. Why? There's that film that came out a few years back, that cartoon, I can't remember, it literally just called Epic. I was like, this film's going to be amazing. It was not epic. It wasn't. It was terrible.
I think this promotion is not going to be epic either.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Kind of sounds like Universal Escape.
Well, it's funny. That's what everyone mentions, doesn't it? Yeah,
I mean, they have Nintendo and all this other stuff to pull from, and they just go with Epic.
And hopefully it sounds like the guys behind Nintendo are going to be as, what's the word I'm going to use? As forceful behind how that land comes out as J.K. Rowling is behind the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. That's what we've heard.
That's good.
That they are going to demand a quite high standard for the areas themselves and the attractions themselves.
Yeah. Which I'm still shocked that they agreed to do not only the theme park and the movie deal together with Universal, because they're the kind of people that would just say, we're going to do it on our own.
Mm.
It's interesting to think that you'll probably never see, and I don't think you'll see it in either Disney or Universal at this point, you will never see an in-house created land ever again. I think everything's going to be IP-based, which is funny when you look at Halloween Horror Nights this year more than any year since they started putting IPs in, that it's I think it's literally 50-50 on IPs and originals this year. So you know they've got the ability to do it. The big company knows that IPs are easier to market.
Yeah.
Which
gets the people in right away, and then you don't have to worry nearly as much about marketing.
Yeah.
Just like
I think the IPs actually create a double-edged sword, because you have built-in marketing, but then you also have expectations you have to meet.
True.
So, part of the reason Fast and the Furious, I would say, is probably expectations of people. I mean, they could have found a way to do like a test track version with like even augmented reality glasses built into the ride, or something would have been better.
That would be so cool if they figured that part out.
Yeah, just something.
This year you're going to see it firsthand, because I think the hype behind Stranger Things at Halloween Horror Nights is massive, and there's a lot of people going to go to that event purely because of Stranger Things. And if that house does not deliver,
I've actually heard early on that it's kind of but it's still early. Those houses always get better with time, but so far I've heard it's pretty standard, like anything. It's just demagogues popping out everywhere, which is what you'd expect. But that would be a shame too, because there's a lot of creepy stuff on that show that could be really subtle.
From the walkthrough we watched of Tim Trackers just earlier tonight, it looks pretty cool. But as me and Claire were talking earlier, I don't care how bad it is. It just means I'm there.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't care how bad it is. I just want to be there. Right, so we are getting towards the end. I've just thought a quick question that I'm going to ask you all, and I'm going to throw you under the bus. And Andrew, because you're in alphabetical order, I'm going to throw you under the bus first, so it gives Ian the longest time to think about this question. So we have discussed how we don't necessarily think the parks have improved over the last 10 years, and definitely not over the last 5 years. What do you think Universal need to do to improve what they've done over the last 5 years?
Ooh, ouch. That is a hard question.
In what direction do you feel they need to go to pull themselves out of the funk they've kind of put themselves in at the moment?
I think a lot of it is just rededicating themselves to the theming of the different parks that they have. Because Islands of Adventure versus Universal Orlando, the main park, you can tell just walking around them, they have two completely different ways of theming themselves. Ride styles, everything just feels very different between the two. And I think they need to not only rehouse themselves, but update a lot of these areas, update a lot of these lands. They need to stop pulling from screen rides. And I hope that, the Harry Potter coaster is the beginning of something great for them, but I think they have a very bright future. They have IP agreements for huge, huge, huge franchises. Just between Harry Potter and Nintendo, they can build ginormous lands, and if they do anything near like they did with Diagon Alley or Hogsmeade, they can nail those, and they just need to get the right style of rides.
I like that. Brittany?
Dang.
Throw Claire under the bus first if you want a bit more time. Sorry, Claire.
That's all right. Throw me.
Yeah, I think for me, anyways, I think they need to. There is a very vocal community, and I think one of the things that they should do is kind of take a look at what they've done, what was successful and what hasn't been, and just kind of make sure that whatever they do in the future, they do they don't make the same mistakes again. They make sure that if they do pull something that is in another park, that they change it. They don't just pull the ride directly.
Yeah.
I think if as long as Nintendo, stays behind them and make sure that they do that property justice, I think that'll be fine. And yeah, I would love to see rides get refurbished. I as much as I love Jurassic Park, if they do a good Jurassic World in Hollywood, I would be very happy to see that ride get some love. I hope that if they're going to keep rides around for a longer period of time, my love is Poseidon's Fury.
Yes.
So
yes,
if they do decide to keep that running, I think I do like that they've added little touches here and there. They added some lighting effects and they added little things, and I think that's what they have to do. Is if they're going to keep these rides open for longer than just a couple years, if they're going to keep them on for a long time, I think they do have to kind of make sure that they stay current, and it's a different, not quite a different experience, but you get a different you get something a little bit added, something a little cherry on top one year, or just a fresh coat of paint would be amazing. But yeah, I think is that good?
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense, because you've got to think now that Universal know how many annual pass holders they've got and how many people visit Universal Orlando regularly now, and they've got to give those people, like you say, a little cherry on top, that they've ridden a certain attraction hundreds of times just to be able to go in and go, oh, that's new, that's cool.
Yeah.
Claire?
For me, the last few times I've been going, it's been about the outer experiences. So, I've fallen in love with Cabana Bay. Last year I fell in love with Volcano Bay, even though there was a lot of moaning myrtles about times and stuff. But do you know what I mean? All those experiences added to my kind of Universal experience has been absolutely great. City Walk's food's been amazing. And part for me now is, can they drag out that innovation into the parks? Because whoever's done that has done an amazing job. And it's just those little things, like you said, it's just taking that step, I don't know, further into what they can do. We all know that they've got these access to amazing team of creative people, and you can see what they could do with one ride in Harry Potter and things like that. But why are they not bringing that to the screen-based rides? What's stopping them? And for me, it would just give us that beauty, give us that creativeness, inspiration. And they've done it outside. They just need to bring it back in.
Yeah, absolutely. Ian?
I'm pretty much going to echo what everybody else said. I mean, and apparently my dog is too. So the theme parks have always been their best when there's been a balance between creatives and the people controlling the checkbooks. And I think it seems to be a little out of balance right now, and they need to let these creatives a little more loose than they have been. Everybody is aware of the talent they have, obviously. I mean, we've all seen what they can do. And these parks are their bread and butter. This company, NBC Universal, I mean, Comcast, it's their bread and butter. They should treat it like that, and they should update things and keep things fresh. And I think they should stop ignoring their own catalog just because of whatever the new coolest thing out is. I mean, they could dig deep and find something really cool and still make an awesome attraction out of it and not rely on another's IP, which in and of itself would save them money.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see the IPs come in, don't get me wrong. But I mean, those three things, they should keep things fresh, let the creatives a little more loose, and definitely dig into their own stuff. I mean, they have plenty of property that they could make awesome attractions out of. So
I think when you look at IPs overall, it's difficult to get something and get it into the park while it's still relevant. You look at Disney, one of their biggest films ever has been Frozen, and look what they've done with that.
Yeah.
So it's not just Universal making those mistakes. Disney are kind of doing it as well. I mean, you look at the Ratatouille, which everyone's praising in Disneyland Paris, but it's just Spider-Man. It's just Transformers. It's nothing new.
Yeah.
Michelle keeps telling me that apparently Flights of Passage is the greatest theme park attraction anywhere, and she'll message me after she's listened to this now, because she'll say exactly what she said the last time I said it, going, it is the greatest attraction anywhere. But it's still a screen-based attraction where you sat on like a motion base. It's nothing, I haven't ridden it, obviously, personally, but from what I know about it, it's nothing entirely new, really.
No, it's impressive, it's beautiful, but...
It's that evolution of Back to the Future, The Simpsons. Yeah. You just sat on something different. It's still just a wraparound screen. It's nothing.
I mean, it's not new, but it's pretty much, I mean, not to direct it to the other park, but it's pretty much what Walt always did. He just innovated it. They updated it. They made it better. I mean, even something as simple as making something better is going to make an awesome attraction. I mean, that ride is really fun. And like Claire was just saying, it's beautiful. And that in and of itself is worth riding it for. And then, I mean... just a small touch of the thing breathing between your legs. And
it's the sensations in that ride that make it.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it's just small touches, but it made it a whole new ride.
Yeah. My thing to Universal at this point would be, yes, we need to look forward. You know, we're excited to see what the fourth gate's going to be, but don't forget where you came from.
Yes.
You know, Islands of Adventure was the theme park that really changed, I believe, changed what theme parks are today. I think that was the catalyst for what Disney are doing, what Universal are doing, and as we've already said on the show tonight, it's kind of just been forgotten about. And if anyone from Creative Universal listening, please don't forget about Islands of Adventure, because it is an amazing park and it needs to be upkept. So my thing that they need to look forward in the future is, yes, keep one eye on where you're going, but don't forget what's behind you.
Yeah, I mean, Islands of Adventure is the same as the Wizarding World. They did something amazing and then just let it sit.
Yeah. So sad. Cool. Well, that's going to end the show. That was a lot more negative than I thought it was going to be. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. They can't be positive all the time. At least anyone listening to this show, or the UUOP, they're always dead positive. They always think everything's amazing. Oh, I guess not. Okay. But no, that was really good. I enjoyed it. It's true. I think it's right. And I think it's things like this that Universal need to listen to the fans. I know it's difficult because you've got to sift through the sea of shite that's on the annual pass holder group. And I think Halloween Horror Nights this year, if you go through the post, everyone has just been so negative about it. And it's difficult to try and look and find out what's people being genuine and people just whinging, because that's the internet nowadays. But I do think they need to take a look at what their hardcore fans are saying and try and take that on board a little bit moving forward. But I still believe that the parks that are good, and they will continue to be good, and whatever they do next will be good. I hope. I have my fingers crossed, both of them, and my toes as well. Because, and if it's crap, well, we'll be able to talk about it, I'm sure. I'll remember this. This will be the group we'll get back. What I need to do, if we're still doing the show in 5 years' time, we'll get this group back and we'll have another discussion at how we feel the parks have gone in the last 5 years. That actually could be quite interesting.
It could be quite depressing, too.
It could be. It could be terrible, yes. It could be all sat with nooses round our neck going, yes, well, okay.
Everyone bring beer.
Cool. Well, that's going to wrap up episode 318 of the Unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. So, for myself and Andrew and Brittany and Claire and Ian, we will see you back here next week.
Cut. Print. That's a wrap for another episode of the Unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. Never miss a show by subscribing on Apple Podcasts and leave us a rating and review while you're there. Not an Apple user? You can listen on Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, or your podcatcher of choice. Email us any questions or comments to podcast@uuopodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, YouTube, Instagram, and Pinterest. Just search UUO Podcast. Keep up with the latest news, rumors, and updates on our blog at uuopodcast.com. Thanks for listening. See you next week.